Alright people, welcome back to another video. Alright guys, so today I just got a quick video for you guys. I just got some simple fix and tips for you guys. So this is mostly for new people that's just coming to the handheld scene. It's gonna give you a couple tips how to use the system most efficiently. This is a short video. So let me get into it real quick. The first thing I want to talk about is the speaker. When the system came out, the speaker, it's like one of the worst speakers on the handheld, right? But there are ways to make it better, and I also released a video. I'll put the video down in the description box below so you can watch it in its entirety and see how to maximize the sound out of your system. I'm not gonna go in depth with it, but basically it's with the app FX Sound. So if you download it, it will give you the option to boost the sound quality out of your system, or you could go into Realtek Audio console and you can mess around it to boost the quality a little bit better. Change the settings to what you think is best for you to get the best sound for you. But in reality, the speaker on the system is not that great, so you won't see a big of a difference, but you will see a difference in your sound quality. And watch the video on FX Sound that boosts it a lot over its potential, so I think that app is kind of better. So I'll put the link in the description down below so you can watch the video and see what's going on. Alright, so the next thing I want to speak about is the TDP. So first things first, I think you should set it, the TDP, before you boot up the game. Everything is set up off rip before you get inside the game, right? So how you want to do it is, the best way to have it is on performance if you're not plugged in. So you would set the performance and then you would go down, and the OS mode, you want to make sure that's set to efficiency, right? So that's the best experience you could get out of the system. It gives you the best performance when you set it just like this if you're on battery. So it all depends on what game you're playing as well. If you're playing a game that don't need that much resource, then you can bring performance down to balance. If you're playing with like a indie game or anything like that and you don't need that boost in performance, then you can bring it down to balance or quiet and leave OS mode and efficiency, because that gives you the best balance between both of them and push more power towards the game. If you're plugged in, depending on what game you're playing, I said before, my system is always on 30 watts because I play a lot of high-end games, so I leave it on 30, and most of the time it's plugged in, and then I leave OS mode on efficiency, and that's how you get the best experience. Next thing is the FPS limiter. You could set this to, depending on what game you're playing, right? So it depends on what game you're playing, what settings you have inside the game, and what the performance you're getting. Right, so if you have it on high settings, that means you might not be getting a lot of FPS, so you might want to cap it so that your system don't try to over push it, and then the FPS stay consistent, right? So just play around with it and see what's best for you. Most of the time I cap it at like 60, depending on what game I'm playing, and I use Lossless scaling, which is the frame generation app from the Steam store. So I use that to kind of double my FPS. So I usually cap it around 60 or 48, and then that boosts my FPS up a little bit more so I get a better experience. I also have a video on my channel about Lossless. You could tune into that and see what's the experience like using that as well. Next is the fan curve. With the fan curve, this is a TDP basis thing, and how hot it is outside, your temperature where you're playing at. So you want to make sure it's set to whatever TDP you have. Out the box, it's set up already where it goes up whenever you go up in TDP, so you keep your system as cool as possible. If you want to make the noise less, you want to keep the fan as low as possible, but then that might be damaging to your system. So when you see that whenever I change TDP, the fan curve changed, so you can leave it just like that because it works perfectly fine out the box with the settings that it comes with. But you could also mess with it. If you go to custom, you could set your own TDP, and then you could set your own fan curve, right? But this, I'll say this is based off of how the temperature, like how hot it is, and how you want to set the fan curve. Because the higher you go up with TDP, the higher your fan curve might go up, but then the more noise your system will make, right? And also depending on what game you're playing as well, determine how much TDP you need. So if you're playing like an high-end game, you might need more TDP. So you might want to turn that fan curve up so that it keeps the system cool. If you don't do that, your system will overheat. Also, if you want a fresh look, some people don't like the look of space, like a kind of plain most people don't even come in here most of the time. They just use the launcher that they're using. So if you want to change it up, you could use playnite to change up the experience to get a different look. I have a video on that as well. I'll put that link in the description down below where you could watch it in its entirety and see what's going on. So basically it's a launcher hub that hubs all your games together, all your apps and everything, where you could use it just like Space. And you could change the settings. You could change it to make it look like PlayStation, make it look like Nintendo, Xbox, whatever you want it to look like. So that's a good app as well that you can look into and see if you want to change the experience up. Next thing is, I'll say for the battery life, you could try and save battery by turning off certain stuff you're not using. Make sure stuff is not running in the background. You go to task manager. Make sure you end stuff that's not running in the background. Helps with battery life. That also helps with performance because the system is not working as hard to keep those stuff running, so put more resources towards the game. Turn off like Bluetooth, all that, those radio stuff that's always constantly using. And if you keep your TDP down, then that's the main way you can save battery life. But all depending on what game you're playing and what you're doing in your system. Your screen resolution as well, your brightness, you could turn down your brightness. All those stuff is like minimal, so you won't see a big of a difference unless the TDP, that's the main thing. So it all depends on what game you're playing. That will determine like how much battery life you're getting. If you're playing like a AAA game at 30 watts, you probably only get like 45 minutes. I'll say yeah, around 45 minutes of gameplay or maybe less. Playing like an indie game, probably get more because there's less resources going towards that game. And the last thing I want to say is not really a tip, but the main reason why I actually use my Legion Go more than my Asus ROG Ally is because of the screen. It's not because of the detachable controller, because I don't really detach it. I only think I detached my controllers like 2 times since I have it. But it's mainly because of the screen size and it's more immersive to me. This screen is huge. So that's the big difference to me. So that's basically it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Just a simple video. I just want to get out there. I know you guys probably know most of these stuff already, but just for my new people or new people that's coming over to the handheld side, this is for you. And thanks for tuning in. If you like what I'm posting, guys, hit that like button. Sub to the channel for more awesome content, guys. And remember, I always say, guys, health is wealth. Peace and love. I'm out. And drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think, guys.